Why are you pointing it out on the right? Why are you saying that the right is doing it wrongly, but the left is doing it?
I mean, the honest answer is that a lot of rightist pundits who do the exact same thing do it really fucking dumb. If you look at someone like David Pakman, he cites studies. He makes specific claims.
David Pakman is a fucking idiot. Like, I don't care. Look, I can bring up a video right now that David Pakman is a fucking idiot, okay?
I mean,
you just said that they never cite studies. The example that you bring up is literally a guy citing a study. You know the fucking study. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
we're off
this
the
is like
charts
the
here
highest
with
level
inconsistency.
of conservative intellect.
You have to acknowledge that everything has become so much more politicized now than it ever used to be.
I'm totally agree with it. I'm partly trying to say that it's partly effect of I'm partly trying to say it's a media bias effect of where you exist, but I would also try and push back on the argument that this is like the left's fault or Gamergate's fault. Go challenge, go to like the Daily Wire, any one of their pundits like Ben Shapiro, and look what he does. Ben Shapiro, lawyer, came from one of the top universities in the country, and what is he doing every day, day in, day out? TikTok reviews, movie reviews. He's looking at trailers. He's doing dumb culture war shit all the time. He's not forced to do that. His company makes millions of money. Why does he do that? Because that's what conservative audiences want to see. Just like liberal audiences want to have a 2-hour video essay on how Shrek is secretly a leftist revolutionary film. It's like people love. I mean, I literally actually have a blog on this. The title is something like "Nobody Wants to Read Theory." And it goes back 100 years. This has always been the case. Literally in the 1890s, we have data from unionized German workers, and guess what they weren't reading? Boring Marxist texts. They were checking out nonfiction. They were reading Monte Cristo or Carlo or whatever. They were reading the fiction of the time, just like we are. 99% of people are just reading dumb fiction shit. And so what do politics people do? Well, we have to add on our politics to that. There's in short, we exist in, the term is a highly mediated environment. Everything you do is like media nowadays, and you have infinitely many choices. So if you're a political pundit, what do? Well, you've got to insert your politics into that. That's what Ben Shapiro does. It's what lefties do. And it's always been happening. It's always been trending that way. I remember the war on Christmas. I remember Jon Stewart. This has been going on for decades.
Right, but that's kind of my point, is that, as you're pointing out, so many people are trying to add their politics to fiction, into media, to get people interested in it. And the problem is, if you don't have Ben Shapiro or whoever else who's criticizing the media or whatever, it's just you've been talking about kind of how you view the right as worse because the right seems to be winning in a lot of legislative victories in terms of passing,
not necessarily
restrictive,
winning, just that their wins tend to destroy things I care about. Yeah,
right. They're pushing
democracy.
Okay, so they're pushing anti-abortion, stuff. They're pushing anti-LGBT stuff in all these, states everywhere. And the thing is, it seems like the right is better at kind of mobilizing in these state legislatures, but that's only because after a decade, it seems like the left has kind of grabbed this stranglehold on so many institutions, including colleges and media. And the problem is that if you don't have your Ben Shapiro criticizing the media that comes out, it's basically like all this culture that's just being pumped out, that's pushing all these, lefty ideas, just goes unanswered and goes into the minds of everyone, and just kind of goes in, and everyone just kind of has to slurp it up. And so if Ben Shapiro just doesn't respond to it, if people on the right don't respond to it, then they view it as the left is just winning. So they feel like they have to respond to it.
Sure. So the first thing I'd point to is the idea that the left, when they get into power, don't pass bills that are favorable to the left is wrong. And I think people don't follow it because we're all keyed into the culture war. But look at, say, Minnesota. Dems got in with a 1-vote Senate majority, and they passed a bill in every major policy area, like weed legalization, union protection, abortion rights, everything that you would care about as a political content creator, whatever. They passed a law. Because they were really fucking dedicated, and they have progressives. One of the big reasons why Dem supermajorities don't lead to big policy changes is that Dem supermajorities are often centrist type liberals, and they aren't very interested in pushing the politics the left is interested in, like welfare and school expansion, and abortion rights.
Yeah, we're used to talking to people who say that Democrats are not left because they're liberals. So
the Democrats are a coalition.
Do you want to get into the baseline questions before we get into the nitty-gritty policy debates?
But I think this isn't what I'm saying is important about how if the left is pushing all these things through culture and the right doesn't respond, or no, it's like the left is pushing things through culture, and then when the right responds, you point to it and say, oh, the right they're so obsessed with these issues. And it's like, well, no, they're just responding to these issues.
Sure. And I think that this is like chicken and egg. Why is the right responding to these things? Well, because like it's an easy way to get their conservative audiences mad at a video because they can say it's
Right.
woke.
Yeah,
Did you see? Did you see all the coverage of the Super Mario Bros. Movie?
Hold on.
Did
Why
you
do
see
you
that like
hold on?
every
Hold
political
on.
content
Hold on.
creator?
Stop a second.
No. I got it.
Why do you?
Like, this is
Why
being
do you?
pushed.
Why are you? Why are
Go
you
ahead.
saying that though? It doesn't the left do that just as much? Isn't their whole goal to get? I mean, I see these left wingers all the time. David Pakman, like Trump can't do anything without him running a David Pakman video. Isn't that because? Or David Pakman can't do anything? Or look,
Yeah,
he
no, I
constantly is
agree with a lot
attacking
of
Trump.
this.
Isn't he attacking Trump to basically say to you know get his audience upset, get his audience angry, and make money off of their Trump hatred? Like that's the same exact thing.
Yeah, so this is all for-profit media. Is
So,
basically the
but
point.
why are you
What
why are
do
you pointing
content
it out on the
creators-
right? Why are you saying that the right is doing
I
it
pointed out
wrongly,
that
but
the
the
left
left is
doesn't.
doing it?
I mean, the honest answer is that a lot of rightist pundits who do the exact same thing do it really fucking dumb. So
Are
an
you against
example
the
would
left
be
doing that?
Super
Are you
Mario-
against David Pakman making Trump videos every
I think
single
David
5
Pakman
minutes?
is like 10 cuts above the average rightist pundit. So yeah, his content is probably better.
Okay, so
when you look at
his
No,
making
let me give you an example.
content that it makes his audience angry is okay.
I would prefer. So I'm not a big fan of for-profit media in general. because
Just
I think it
answer the
tends
question.
towards-
Just answer the question, okay?
Well, I would say ideally no, but this is the system we live in.
Okay.
And he can't change
So it's
that.
but it's okay for him to do it, but for Ben Shapiro to do it, it's not okay.
It's not that it's not okay. This is just
Well,
what
why do
happens
you
in
even
a
bring it up?
for-profit
Look,
media system.
both sides do this shit. This
I
is
didn't bring it up
literally
out
the
of
both
nowhere.
sides shit.
Y'all brought up that like a Gamergate meant everything political, and I was trying to point out no, there's this
Look,
unbroken trend
you're making
going
a
all the way
claim.
back to the aughts with Fox
You're
News and, like,
making
the
a
war on
claim.
Christmas.
You're making a claim that political pundits like to get their audience angry, as if it only happens on the right.
No, I explicitly pointed out that the left did this. I talked about a 2-hour like video essay.
Okay,
being a
okay.
revolutionary.
Yeah, I'm assuming
and
we've
I know
all
that's
seen
hyperbole,
this.
but that's what lefties
It's
do.
just-
Like,
it's just-
We've
look at
all
H Bomber.
seen-
No, real quick.
It's
look at H Bomber
silly.
guy's
It's
videos.
silly to
Like,
point to one side and say, "Oh, it's so terrible when they do it." You know, you're going off on Ben Shapiro doing this. This is all
Right.
Ben Shapiro does when every
we
single
can-
person on the left does it as well.
We
So-
can all agree. I assume we've all seen CGP Curry's video about
Yes,
how
the
outrage
angry,
sells.
of
Yes, we all,
course.
okay, so I assume we all agree.
Yes.
Outrage sells. Okay.
But let's not go on a 15-minute diatribe
Okay,
about
so-
Ben Shapiro
okay,
making his audience
right, my
angry
only-
when
right, my
everybody
only
does it.
point-
It's like
my
everybody
only-
does it.
Right. My only point was that the right has to, or feels like they have to, respond to the culture stuff now that they feel like that the culture and media and all this stuff is so inculcated with left ideas. Now, does
Sure,
that
but
mean
they've
that the
been
right
saying
is
that
going to
forever.
swing at a lot of misses like they did with Super Mario Brothers, which you're bringing up? Yes, definitely. The right is not, the innocent angel in this situation. I just don't like that there's this attitude that the right is the one kind of creating this out of nothing
Yes,
when they're simply
course.
reacting to
So-
stuff.
So if I had to give an argument, it would be
Mhm.
when you look at like content on the right, it tends to be a cut below in terms of intellectual analysis of like this
Okay, we
similar
got to do
content on the
baseline,
left.
Sitch. We got to do
Well-
baseline because this is ridiculous. We're getting into ridiculous
Well,
territory.
let Aiden finish his point.
Go
Sure.
ahead,
The
Aiden.
point was, if you look at someone like David Pakman, he cites studies. He makes specific claims.
David
When you-
Pakman is a fucking idiot. Like, I don't care. Look, I can bring up a
can
video
disagree
right
with him.
now that
He
David
still
Pakman
makes the
is a
intellectual-
fucking idiot. Okay.
I mean, the last time
Every
that
single
we-
person
I'm
in
sure-
our audience can make analysis better than David Pakman. You were the one living in a bubble.
I don't
here.
think Dave Pakman is like
that sounds insane.
I don't think
David
Aiden
Pakman
is- wait,
easily
wait.
cut above like what Ben Shapiro does. If
To
look at
you!
average-
To
no. I want you to think about this in like a objective content
Oh,
analysis. Watch a Ben Shapiro-
let's
just
hear
let me-
your
let me finish
objective
this.
analysis here.
Yeah, watch a Ben Shapiro video of like a TikTok review. How often does he make a citation to an objective fact, and how often does he just go ha 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 and move on as if
I mean, I don't
laughing,
watch
as
a lot
if
of Ben
mocking?
Shapiro, so I can't answer that
Look,
question.
Well,
this
the
is
point is, when
look,
you do,
this is
this is the
hilarious.
content you
okay?
get.
Look, this is hilarious. This is
Well,
hilarious. You're the one.
wait. Let's use some specific examples here, okay? Because the last time that we really looked at David Pakman stuff, and because
Look, I have a video right now.
Wait, let me finish. Okay, I used to watch David Pakman. I'm like, oh, he used to seem pretty moderate. He used to kind of, be kind of like, oh, okay, I disagree with him sometimes. I agree with him sometimes. But when the Kyle Rittenhouse situation came up, his take on that was so fucking insane. And his conversation with Destiny on this, where he completely refused to acknowledge fault, and he was like, oh my God, the judge's cell phone rings has like this famous song in it, and that famous song was once used in a Trump rally. So obviously, the judge is biased against, biased in favor of Kyle Rittenhouse. And oh my God, he's got like an American flag tissue box. Like he went so insane on that I lost any respect I could possibly have for David Pakman.
Sure, I will happily agree that like every pundit makes big errors all the time, and that probably includes David Pakman. But the point I'm trying to make is when you look at the average content produced by Ben Shapiro, it's not like an occasional mistake. It's all of the content is substanceless like mockery at this point. And he's one of the conservative intellectuals.
That is your perspective.
I feel like Pakman does that for just
if we want to do this, no, let's talk about like Jordan Peterson, easily one of the like highest conservative intellectuals.
Kind of gone down a dark path recently, but
sure.
That's a good example.
But if we want to go down to like this guy's a fucking
I don't want to
moron,
defend Jordan Peterson.
Jordan Peterson said that you can't get off of cigarettes without God. He said
that is a complete straw man of what he said. Let's move.
No,
let's go back to the thing. Let's just move.
He said that you can't. Yeah. He literally said, "I can get you a verbatim."
I know. No. I know, but he doesn't mean that you need to take religion to get off cigarettes. That wasn't his point.
Yes,
that's why.
His
point was that
ironically he was citing a study at the time that he said that too.
You know how many people were in that study?
Look, you just said that they never cite studies. The example that you bring up is literally a guy citing a study. You know the fucking study. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
we're
because
off
this
the
is like
charts
the
here
highest
with
level of
inconsistency.
conservative intellect. And you know what study he cites is a 14-person study where they took magic mushrooms and there was a slight difference in rate of quitting cigarettes. 14 people. And that's his proof that you can't quit cigarettes without God.
Look,
this is a conservative intellectual.
All I'm saying is
his analysis is broken.
Look, a minute ago you said they never cite studies. You're literally saying that he cited a study.
Never does.
Okay.
Yeah. Never is hyperbole.
Hold on.
Do you think that David Pakman still believes
studies.
the? Do you think Dave Pakman still believes that the City Park Karen lady was in the wrong? Because I would bet you he does.
I don't care. The average level of content analysis is what we're talking about. I'm sure Pakman has stupid views. The point is that like the average view that you get from someone on the right is garbage nowadays.
I think that it's easy when we believe the politics of one person, it's very easy for us to sort of overlook the shitty takes and then look badly at the other takes of the person that we completely disagree with. So
sure, I mean, go ahead and do like a
that
Ben Shapiro content analysis.
No, wait. I assume you would acknowledge that that's like one of the most common errors in judgment that all humans make, right?
Yeah, it's an error everyone makes in judgment, but that's why I'm trying to point to like objective facts about this, about the content.
Well, as I said,
there's a difference in like,
hey, so I'm not sure.
But that's the point. It's not just Ben Shapiro. It's every Daily Wire person. Okay. And Daily Wire as a whole gets as many views as like Fox News. And Fox News does the exact same shit. Their daily programming is all the same kind of garbage where they'll show you like a guy fighting. They'll be like, wow, doesn't this outrage you?
Here's the problem. Again, I don't watch any Daily Wire stuff regularly at all, ever. So it could all be garbage. It could all be garbage, right? But then, on Sunday, we were watching NBC National News and ABC National News. Okay, these are the big dogs here. And they're going around, they're spreading basically the wrong information about the city bike Karen situation. And not only that, but they're literally knocking on her neighbors' doors. They're trying to find neighbors that this lady has that are black and say, hey, did you know you're living next to a racist? Come watch this video of her. Look at this racist. What do you think about this? And like, this is the most despicable thing ever. So to me, it's laughable to try to draw like, oh, well, the left's analysis of things is so much better than the right's.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.